Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your patience as we get started here for WOR Season 12, Round 9, here for the Mexican Grand Prix. I am a new voice in the comms box and your host for this evening, CRL Freefall, but you can just call me Scott. And I'm joined by the one and only, the magnificent Storm. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Come fresh off another league race as we jump into Mexico, the home of the Mexican Grand Prix, and also the home of one Sergio Perez, who finished on the podium in the real life Mexico Grand Prix last season. So two stop is probably the top strategy here, as a few drivers are leaving the session. I don't know if there's an issue with the lobby.
I'm just wondering, we've got that 30-second timer. Have we started the lobby and we don't have qualifying loaded up? Or it's glitched out? It does seem to be just repeating at the top there.
Ah, the wonderful life of Codemasters.
They improve the game in one way and ruin it in another. You just love to see it. It's really sets us up for what I'm sure will be an exciting game in F1 2022.
Yeah, Dan's just said a restart. So
Flying start to this Friday night entertainment here in WR. Well, I suppose it gives us a little time to go through some things. Standings, shall we take a little look at that? Of course, the grid tonight chocked full of some very, very talented drivers. The man at the top, though, is, of course, Shazoo Jensen. 162 points. He is currently top of the table, and that is exactly what has happened with our lobby. We seem to have started without any sort of qualifying, so it will be a restart. Bear with us. Like we're saying though, Shazoo Jensen, top of the pack, 182 points. Surface, his nearest contender, 88 points behind at this halfway mark. Going to be a big race tonight between those two. Really, Surface and the likes of Tom Bolin shortly further behind, going to have a big night here to try and close that gap on Jensen. Should be an interesting one though, the Mexican Grand Prix, of course, the highest altitude race on the calendar. Plenty of drivers capable of winning here in this grid. Some interesting scenes, I must admit, on the stream at the moment. I don't know, I've never seen anything like this. Storm, have you?
No, not really. Not in since the new update. But yeah, no. It is unfortunate that we have to deal with these situations with this game, but we'll keep you entertained as much as we can, and I'm sure Scott's lovely Scottish accent will keep you entertained while we do have a little bit of an intermission for a few moments while we get the new lobby sorted out.
Absolutely. At the very least, you can have a little laugh at the way I will pronounce some of these drivers' names over the course of the evening. The Scottish language doesn't seem to mix particularly well with anything that isn't so outside of Scotland, England, and Ireland when it comes to pronouncing words. But bear with me on that. I might need your guidance here, Storm, with a few of these words. You might just need to be the backup in case I start stuttering a specific driver's name.
Yeah, of course. And just looking at the constructors, and it's looking pretty tasty. We've got Aston Martin leading the way with 228 points, and then in second place with a gap of 132 points is Williams, who only have one driver. So to get 96 points and be up in the second place, that's some fantastic driving. As we go into third place, which is AlphaTauri, with 88 points. They are 140 points behind. And then in fourth, we've got Red Bull, with the two Greek drivers of Miltos, I believe that is, and Panos, with 65 points. They have a gap of 163. Haas is in fifth with 86 points. That doesn't work out right. Apologies, that Haas should be P4. That's a little bit of I think Luke having a little bit of a mare there. As so hold on, I'm going to try and have to work this out now.
Get the calculator out.
Yeah, right. So Haas should be P4 with 86 points. and then you've got in fifth will be Red Bull, in sixth will be Alpine with 51. Then in seventh will be Ferrari with 45. Eighth will be Alfa Romeo. Ninth will be McLaren, and then 10th is Mercedes. So yeah, that's I think that maybe a tier coordinator has not updated that, unfortunately. So I don't know what's going on there. As yeah, I don't even know what's going on with this lobby. Are they restarting it or?
I haven't seen it. I did see a few little chats there that were maybe going to try and rejoin it, the same lobby, just to speed things along. Bear with us now, folks. Technical difficulties as everything. It seems to be, though, the settings of the lobby were all correct. Codemaster's just doing doing what they do best and choosing we don't want to do any quality. We're going to get straight into the action. Unfortunately, that's not how we roll here at WOR. Settings need to be correct, and it will have to be a lobby restart. But let's talk about our track tonight. Mexico, round 9, season 12. Previous winners, of course, John Evans, Logic, and Rizzy. The last season out in 11. Before that, it was raced in season number 9. And then before that, season number 7. So a semi-regular track here on the calendar. It's a track I find you either love or you hate. That flowing middle sector, really easy to get caught out and pick up some wide or corner cutting invalidations, adding up to a 3-second time penalty. So it'll be interesting to see how the drivers negotiate that section, but also balancing the downforce you need there along the straight. So one thing to very, very much look out for tonight is that balance of the setup. You may see some cars a little bit quicker down the straight, some a little bit quicker in the corners. Storm, if it was down to you, you're racing tonight, what sort of preference would you be going for?
Um, Now I'm kind of a more of an alternative strat person myself. So I think if it's a two-stop, maybe a safety car may come in play because of the S section, where drivers will probably invalidate a little bit. I probably may start on the mediums just in case there is a few incidents on lap one, especially going into that very long straight. You can gain a few positions as well, and you can work the tires a little bit more, and you can go a little bit longer in the race. And then if there is a safety car, you're then kind of in that prime position. You'll get a free pit stop. You will get that, kind of time saved, and these drivers know what they're doing. They are, in some of the biggest esports teams on PlayStation, and they're in this tier for a reason because they know what strategy they want to do. They know how to win races, and we've seen from Jensen and the other drivers as well. They know how to win races, so I think it's not gonna be an easy, straightforward night when we eventually do get into some form of qualifying.
Absolutely. When you're at this level, the quality we have here, it's not about who can nail down a good lap. It's about who can nail down the best lap. There's going to be very, very fine margins around this circuit of Mexico City, of course. We're expecting times to be in the low teens, definitely. So a relatively short lap time, and of course that promotes a much closer grid. Be very interesting to watch. I think we are starting to get underway with the restart and getting the lobby reformed and everything. So hopefully, folks, we will have some sort of action on your screens very, very soon. In the meantime, let's have a little look at what else we can, of course, go through. How about the calendar, of course, Storm? We're just about the halfway point through this WR season. Round number 9 out of 15. Mexico tonight, of course. Next week, Australia, followed by Portugal, Saudi Arabia, France, Britain, and the final in Brazil. And I love that choice of a final circuit. That brings it out such a nostalgia to the sort of mid 2000s. Ending it at Brazil, the sort of, to my eyes, the historic home of F1.
Yeah, I think there's no better race than obviously Brazil. I think Abu Dhabi, not Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia. That could be one to keep an eye out for. As obviously we saw the most recent Grand Prix, where Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen went for it. Yeah, Australia, that could be another one that could turn out to be really good. Spain, we know that people called it Pain for a reason. Yeah, there's a lot of tracks there that I think if you're not in the championship contention, you might just look at them races and go, I'm good at this track. I'm good at Australia. Maybe I can upset this championship. Maybe I can not put myself in that championship contention, but I may just be able to, cause a little stir, maybe come towards the end of the season and put myself into a really good position for next season whenever that does start.
Absolutely, build that momentum with a few good performances at the tail end of the season. Of course, like you say, maybe not challenging for the supreme silverware that is the Tier 1 title, but nevertheless, a podium in this tier is nothing to be scoffed at, and the momentum that some of these drivers could build off that could really see them make a challenge as we head into Season 13 very shortly after this season. It rounds off, of course, Saudi Arabia, like you're saying, that's got to be I cannot wait for that race, I must admit. I really love the track on the game. It throws up some really, really big upsets. Potential for drivers further down the grid to maybe, like you say, make the step up and grab themselves a nice little podium trophy. Speaking of the drivers, let's have a look at our lineup here, of course. 10 teams, as always, the current manufacturers of the F1 series. Dansbury and IFR Rudy taking up the McLaren seat. Bolin and Lejen. This is the part where I told you about my pronunciation. You're about to get a very good laugh out of this here, folks. Jax and Jackakaugili. I think I said that right. In the McLaren. Jensen, your championship leader in the Aston Martin with him to his teammate Tom. Smalley and Freaky Fast taking up the Alpine seats, the Ocon and Alonso of WOR Tier 1. Fleddy and Lynx are in the Ferrari. The Tifosi will be loving that combination. Pure speed in the red car with Jackapu and Gomel Jabraka in the Alpha Tauri. Getting to the 8th and third to last team at Line Violet. He is racing here tonight in the Alfa Romeo alongside Jake Marshall GP with Surface and Yannick in the Haas. And rounding off with Williams, the 10th and final team, Santari with Modestral. That name has really caught me out there, really off guard. I don't know if you noticed there. I think I just got away with it.
Yeah, and I think looking at these teams, wow, what a lineup we have. The teams that probably stand out for me is got to be Jensen and Tom. I know them both, and they are absolute two fantastic drivers. The two Williams, they could win a race on their day. Rudy, I know as well. He is also a fantastic driver. He can win a race. Um, Lynx, he can be up there. Jabraka can be up there as well. There's a lot of drivers in there on their given day can win a race. And that's all they need to do. They just need to find the perfect 36 laps. It may not be, it probably is complicated for me, myself and you, because we probably aren't at the level of these guys, but they know what they're doing. And all they've got to do is they've got to find in the qualifying session that perfect lap. They've got to also find some track space because there is going to be a full grid here as qualifying is now going to get underway very shortly as the drivers are now readying up, and it's going to be an absolute cracker.
Definitely, like you're saying there, the quality on this grid. You just need to look at the team names in front of the drivers. Shazoo, IRT, it just screams quality, and that is exactly what this grid is. I'm looking forward to this race. It looks like we are getting back underway now as we head into qualifying. Of course, short qualifying here tonight, 18 minutes around this circuit in the high altitude of Mexico City. Really one to look forward to, and I cannot wait to finally get into it. 25 minutes later than maybe scheduled, but nothing goes perfectly, especially first time for us, Storm.
Now, of course, and do you know what will really spice this up? Rain. Because these drivers are prepared for a dry session. Now, I know a lot of the drivers don't like the rain and everything. It is a clear session at the moment, and we are finally here for qualifying in WOR. And wow, it is now time for the drivers to make that perfect lap. And I'm going to throw this one over to yourself as well. Who do you think is going to take pole tonight?
I think if I'm playing the safe game, I've got to go in Jensen. He is, of course, pole last week in Bahrain, pole to flag, winning the last 4 Grand Prix here from round 5 in the Netherlands all the way through to round 8 last time out in Bahrain. But if I was going to pick an outsider, I'm going to have to put it on. I'm going to have to put it on Jax. I just fancy him for a little upset tonight. The Australian, of course. I just think he's got some potential here around Mexico. And let's get a lovely little trailer. Back across now to the action here tonight in Mexico on PlayStation Tier 1 because the drivers will very shortly be setting their first laps here tonight. Oh, I think it's time for a little air break there. Go, Storm. That was a mouthful.
Of course. As I'm going to ride on board with the championship leader as he sets the provisional pole at the moment with a 15.4, should I say, on the mediums. And a lot of drivers have opted for the medium compound tires as his teammate FVR Bolin goes and sets a 15.2, and that's on the medium compound tire, ladies and gentlemen. That is the more slower tire than the soft compound tire. Obviously, we have the 3 Pirelli compound tires available this evening, which is the soft, the medium, and the hard. The soft is the quicker tire, but does wear the most quickly. And then we've got the medium tire, which is the one that will last a little bit longer, but will also wear around about after 10 probably not 10 laps, but around about 12 to 15 laps. And then we have the hard compound tire, which we probably won't see this evening, will be for the complete near race, which will be around about 20 to 22 laps. And they are the slowest of the compound. We also have the intermediates and the wet compound tire, but who knows? We may see them in the race. We don't know what the weather is, but let's just enjoy qualifying and we'll find that out in the race as SXT Daniel sets the fastest lap on a soft compound tire and is the first driver to set one with a 14.9, with Vengeance in the McLaren also on for the softs as well with a 15.0 should I say.
Very good lap times flowing in. MX Chicken following suit with a 14.9. Just 3,000 separating himself from Daniel for that provisional pole position. Time's really starting to fly, and you can see the difference between the soft and medium. Like you're saying, that soft tyre a little bit more malleable, but with that malleability, with that ability to get the grip onto the tarmac from the car and increase your cornering speeds, you are, of course, reducing the lifespan of that tyre. Of course, the top 10 here tonight will have to start on the tyre they set their best lap on, as Panos Cara goes P7 on a set of softs. His second lap on those softs, a little validation on his first run, playing against him here tonight. A little glitch there I noticed as well with Dan. He was in the pits as he finished his fastest lap time. And speaking of a fastest lap time, it was Jake Marsh GP. So not only are we seeing fast lap times there, we're seeing more Cody's errors. Hopefully the last of them tonight. On board with Smalley, he's coming around the final corner now and is actually going to dive into the pits, not completing that lap on the mediums. And the first initial times coming in here, not a big spread throughout the field. You look at P11 all the way up to P1, only a second, and you've got a mix of soft and medium tyres there. And of course, they're all in the position where they're going to be starting on that racing compound.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, Scott, but the stream is lagging very badly, and people are noticing it in the comments. I don't know if it's because we've got Australian drivers, but I just thought you might want to check your end.
I'll have a quick little look.
It's
Maybe.
it's quite bad. I don't know if you might need to restart. I don't know, but yeah, it's quite bad.
We will be back in 2 seconds. We'll just do a quick little stream restart here. Not